So let's talk about some case ideas, because anyone following along at home, you'll recognise this TPU case. So basically it was an all-in-one unit. It's got a spacer in the middle for the battery, hold everything together, ports in there, and then there's little slots in there for the boards to sit in, so the boards would sit nicely in there. And then that was an awesome case, to be honest. I loved it. But the problem is, the only way to manufacture that is some fancy pants TPU printing. You can't really FDM print, it's got to be some magical laser print with powder and stuff, which gives you this nice textured finish, which kind of looks pretty cool, but some people think it looks a bit weird, but it doesn't actually feel like that. It can be vapor smoothed, but because so many things are so thin, it'll all just deform and bend and whatnot. And there's no real way of injection molding it or pressure molding or whatever they do with silicone. So I had the idea of splitting it up into bits. So basically you've got the core, which the board sits on. It's got the space for the battery. Bit of a messy print, but you get the idea. And then there's some extra parts that go around it. Now the idea of these extra parts was down to my good friend Ryan Cotter. Ryan rocks. So basically it's a bit like the old-fashioned Nokia phones. The waterproof one with the two-part shell. So the actual bumper itself was in two parts. And the idea was, I was going to have some little notches in there. You can see those. And there's some little pegs in there. Just about see those. But the problem is, this is so thin and bendy that those pegs weren't really applying any pressure in there. So it didn't really work too well, it just kept falling off. So, bit of iteration. And now there's some little dog bone bits there. Just about, see there's a dog bone shape on there. And then the case has a matching cutout on there. And a side effect to that, as well as it being potentially easier to injection mold, because they can mold the two holes on that. And I'm hoping they can mold that like that way. So all these recesses can be molded. This little catch can just pop off the mold, hopefully. So that would mean obviously you got jazzy colours like we've got here. And also, as a side effect, it is incredibly easy to build. So obviously there won't be that battery by default, it'll be the normal Nokia battery. But while I've been testing this, it's quite handy having this battery in here. So that sits on there nicely. And then the keyboard membrane will sit on there. And then the top plate sits on there. So that sits nicely on that bit. And then the back plate, get it the right way so there's contacts in the right place. That will sit nicely on there. So you get a nice sandwich. Probably wouldn't taste very nice, but it looks alright. And then you get the right case on the right end. Prints are all a bit rough and tolerances need playing with and stuff, but as a bit of a concept, works pretty well. Bottom bit, make sure I get rounded corner, square corner. Lots of dead air. People love a bit of dead air. And then that just clips together. Clip the dog bone in. And away we go. It's all nice and built. Sturdy as anything, because obviously you've got board at the back, board at the front. It's mainly circuit board with a bit of plastic holding it together, to be fair, but ports are nicely lined up and everything. That also has the added side effect there that any add-on cards you put in will be nicely protected. And then if you want to pop that off, just change the card, you can just yoink it off. Well, you get the idea. You can just pop it off, change the card, pop it back on again. That's all nice and protected. The card can't fall off onto a winner. So yeah, all good. Keep going for more updates.